Hi everyone, thanks for learning with me. And here I'm going to step into step number 16. We're half of the way, and this is a topic called dialogues and fragments. And here we'll go with the fragments first. So you may get many interview questions like what is fragments, okay? So ready to answer it in a theoretical way because you may work on that and you may be familiar with this, but you need to answer in as a theoretical part in the interviews. So you can say it's a lightweight UI path which can be reused, but they do not have any controller. They'll be reused, okay, but they do not have any this means whenever you want to define a certain part of UI to be reused across multiple views, or when you want to exchange some parts of view against one another under some circumstances, the fragment is a good candidate. And so what here is mentioning is, I'll give a real-time example. So if you need a button or same button in many views, there are 10 views, and if you want to use five buttons, same buttons in all the 10 views, at that time, what you can do, you can create a fragmentor, and within that fragmentor, you can place this button. So by placing this, you can use that a single button are among multiple views. You don't need to code separate, you don't need to create separate controller, and you don't need to do that. This will be very helpful to you. A fragment consists of one-to-one controls as a view. It behaves as a view, which means it has every controls, it has the DOM properties, everything. Okay, it will use the dialogues. So we will now add a dialog to our applications. Dialogues are special because they open on top of the regular app content and thus do not belong to a specific view, right? It is common for all views. That means the dialog must be instantiated somewhere in the controller code. But since we want to stick with a declarative approach and create some sort of beautiful, useful artifacts that will be flexible to our XML fragment, okay? So what we are going to get in our application is this dialog box, hello world dialog box, okay. This we are going to do in our applications. We are going to do that in I'm going to show that in our live code, okay. So for that we'll first start with, okay, we'll go to our new view, hello panel view. And within that, we will create a button before a button which is already created. Formatting. Formatting is hard for a developer, right? Okay, button. So I'm going to give some ID to my button so that I can use a call of anywhere. And hello dialog button. This is the ID for my button. And add some properties over here. Text property. And within the text, I'm going to display. We will get that from our I18 file, I18 n, and we'll name something called open dialog button. Okay, open dialog button text. Okay, so yeah, we'll just open this over here. That will be easier for us. So come to your I18. Okay. Say hello. Um, say just hello. When with dialogue. Okay, this is what we need. And um, okay. And what else we can add to our button? We'll just close this off. I switch throwing error. So we're going to add some on events. Okay, on press event or any sort of event for this. Okay, I'm going to add a dot on open dialog event. That will be my event name and a class for visualizing SAP UI small man and right? Okay. So yes, brilliant. We are done, and we're done with the we created a button. We have fetched that from our I18 file, right? And to create a fragment, so we need to create a fragment within our view. Just within the view, create new file. Hello, dialog dot. See the naming convention. It should be important. Fragment.xml. Simple. Okay. And we'll start with mentioning as it is from core library. We can fetch that fragment definition, right? Definition. Okay. We'll come with namespace xmlns colon, and we are going to fetch that from sap.m library. So xmlns. We're going to fetch that from sap.ui.core. Okay, so that will be equal to fetching all functions over here. And I'm going to close this, of course. Oops, we need to mention here. Okay, we'll close this off. So, yeah, it's done. Oh, what is four segment? Ah, sorry, it's we are doing simple. It will be sometimes we will be throwing simple errors over there. Okay, still. For fragment, okay, fragment definition. Hmm. Okay, fine. Okay, definition part is done. And within this fragment, you can code anything. So we are going to call the dialog control from sap.m library, and because it does not have any alias, we could call it. So we could call that dialog, and we are going to give an ID for that. Hello or dialog, and something called title. Mm, title will be hello, and we are going to fetch that from our model. So slash recipient, right, slash name. Okay, we just close that off. Okay, okay. So whatever you want, you can just add in this case, like we have just added a dialog. And if you need, you can add anything. Okay, and we're going to add some controller logic over here. Okay, so in the controller, we'll add some another event. What event we have used? View, right? Sorry, just got confused. Okay, on open dialog event. Okay, we'll start writing a controller code for that. Just give a comma and use your functions and function call function call, and within that, okay, so creating a variable, and variable name will be overview. To get it reference from our view, we are writing this using this dot, we are going to get our view. Okay, so we are done with this, and we are going to create the dialog lazily, okay, with lazy loading. So to do this, we're going to say if the dialog exists, open it, else create it and open it. Okay, if it is not there, you need to create it and open it. So for that, if start with the exclamation mark, as we are going to, if does not exist, you cannot say using the id and the dialog id open, it's going to go ahead and physically create it. And if it does not exist, if this does not exist, okay, this by you're going to give a id, and the id will be the id of our dialog. It will be hello dialog, okay, it will be hello dialog. And if it does not exist, you're going to create that, okay. Okay, you're going to create that. And we are going to load asynchronously, as if it is not there, it is going to create. If it is there, what we are going to do is we are going to open that exact fragment called dialog. Okay. So for that, okay. So what we are going to, if there is a okay, if there is a, if it is fetched, what we are going to write is we are going to fetch our fragment dot will fetch a fragment here. So how we are going to write that is fragment dot load of something, and write your logic here. We are giving id. Okay, it will be get by connecting to the view, and with the id get id methodology. So if okay, and added with the name of our hello dialog. Okay. Oops. SAP comma u SAP dot right dot UI dot m dot walk through dot view dot hello dialog, right? Okay, I think you're done. Walk through view dot hello dialog. And if this is not done, if it is not done, you're going to start with oops fragment directory. Fragment, right? If then if it is happening, you need to create that, right? Create that using a function, and within that you are going to pass a argument called who dialog, and we are going to create a function over here, right? The function should be within a method form. It should not be out of that. Okay. Okay. So now we are going to connect our dialog to the root view of the applications, okay, of this component. Okay, so what for that what we are going to do is we are going to connect this with the models, how we connected with the overview, okay. So coming to that, start with overview. So we have got a reference of overviews, see overviews here, and also here we are, and we will give a add dependent. So if that is, this dependent should be called, okay. Within that dependent, we're going to call this argument or dialog argument, and we're going to pass this as a object to this. So just close this. We'll call this O dialog, okay, dot, and we are trying to open that, okay. So just close that, and now we have called the fragment, and if it is does not exist, if it is does not exist, then you will be create the fragment. Okay, if it is exist, it will just open it. Okay, that is what the code we have we have done with. So okay, So if it is okay, if it is fine, and if it is open and it need to close right at that period of time, what you're going to write is, we are going to write else. So this dot by id, we are going to fetch our id called hello dialog, and we are going to open that. Okay, if the app is does not that, we can open. Okay, open directly, else just open this. If it is there, create that and then open that. Okay, that is the code we have written over here. It just refresh the application. We may get any errors if it may be, but let's see. Okay, just shall inspect this. Also. Okay, fragment is not defined. Okay, fragment is not defined. Unquote reference error. Okay. Um. Okay. Let's see why it's happening. Okay. Getting this, and if you know there is saying it is failed to load. We'll check with the view. It is fine, and there's some error. Fragment. Oh, I think we're correct with this, right? Fragment definition. Okay, let's try now. There is no errors, right? So here also no errors, here also no errors. We'll try once. Okay, now, yep, there you go. We got this, and this is the output of our fragment, hello UI5. So these are very small mistakes that we can do, but it will be very effective for you if you're in the naming learning phase. So this is our little fragment, and that looks good. It is working perfectly, and yeah, I think that's good. And in the next class, have you encountered that this fragment is open, and how to close that? If you have mm, any sort, like you can close this. So we can't close this, right? So to close that, we need some other concept. Okay. So we will discuss that in upcoming class regarding that concept. Okay. I'll take you from that. Good day. Thank you.